Everybody, welcome to today's album review. Today we're going to be reacting to an album that Brett doesn't know what it is yet. He's got no idea. I haven't told him. So let me share the screen. Well, let me show you. I'll show you the comment first. Second. Okay, so Brett should be able to see the screen. So it's our regular contributor. So Central Cee has a new album out, 23.
Okay.
Reckon you could prefer that one to Wild West? So I asked him, what makes you think we'll like it more? And he replied saying, the style of songs is more varied and more London references.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so as for the album itself, it's actually a mixtape. Do you know what a mixtape is, Brett?
Oh, no, I can't say I do. Is it a case of just songs that sort of never gone to an album, they've just made an album out of leftover songs? I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you what it is. A mixtape is a compilation of music, typically from multiple sources, recorded onto a medium with origins in the 1980s. The term normally describes a homemade compilation of music onto a cassette tape, CD or digital playlist. The songs are either ordered sequentially or made into a continuous something or other.
Oh, well, I know what right, okay, let me come back. I know what a mixtape is in those regards, yes. Okay, thanks, lesson there. So apologies, no, I just make it. Yeah, I do know mixtape in but not in Central Cee's mind. So that's what I probably should have said.
Okay, well, the album itself, it's only 40 minutes long. They're all very short tracks, apart from number 6, which is Eurovision, and.
So I just in this form now, like Central Cee doing a song about Eurovision is quite cool to think of, really.
Well, it's not just Central Cee. It's Rhonda, Sosa, Baby Gang, AT&T, Morad, Benny Jr., Ash 22, and Freeze Corleones. A whole load of them get involved in that. So, okay. So, Brett, what are you thinking? You up for this one? You looking forward to it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we'd like this last one essentially, where the songs were quite short, because we know the sort of style was going to be, and it's kind of there are sometimes when they won't go a bit too long, you kind of lose interest. So the fact they're nice short ones going to come in, the fact that they've been told that there might be some more London references is always interesting and good to see. I saw on some of the tracks there was one like for Terminal 5. I don't know if it's a reference to New Heathrow Terminal that was there. And there's something else I can't remember what it was now off the top of my head, but yeah, I think this could be very current as well. And obviously, it was just released a few months back, so yeah, it's nice to hear some real sort of current, up to date music as well, especially from an area that we might be more familiar with and actually get more a feel and understanding for it as well. Even though we probably lived very different lives, and we said this from his last album. I can't remember. I think we did enjoy his last album overall in the end, I think. I can't remember what specifically about it was, but yeah, so I will be looking forward to this one as well.
Yeah, also Kopf Los mentioned as well that the album has more variety, so that should be a good thing as well. So I can't remember, I'm getting confused, because I know we done a Central Cee album, we did another album that was kind of similar, and one of them we couldn't understand anything at all when we compared them with each other. Was it Central Cee that we couldn't understand at all? Was it Central Cee that we understood more than the other one?
Yeah, I don't want to get it wrong, but you're right, because then we did not Dave, the mate of Dave, but I can't remember his name. Or Central Cee, the mate of Dave.
That's the thing.
This is where our unprofessional comes in and done our research. By the time we listened to the album, we would have looked back on that to see this, because we've done a lot of reviews since then, and we'll get our excuses in there. But you're right, there was two quite similar. One that we didn't understand as much, and I thought Century was the one we did understand more. because he was the mate of Dave. But
now I think it's the other way around. I've got a feeling Central Cee is the one we didn't understand at all.
Okay. Yeah, it could be. I can't.
Okay. Well, let's see how it goes. So we're back with you guys in a second. So we've now listened to the album 23 by Central Cee. So Brett, do you want to tell us briefly what you thought of it?
Yeah, so I think from remember in our intro, which I know felt like it was only a few seconds ago, to us was a little bit longer. We forgot we were getting confused with like AJ Tracey and Central Cee and who was who. And you were right, it was AJ Tracey who I think we slightly preferred, and it was Central Cee who we listened to, and I remember saying I felt very old, very lost in what was being said on that particular album. For this album, kind of the same as the last album. However, I think it was a little bit more, I don't want to use the word relatable, but definitely more understandable. There was obviously still lines and terms where I felt lost and I didn't know if it was a compliment he was saying or being negative or whatever it was trying to say. I did feel very old listening to this, and this felt like a real American influence, but real British sort of rap modern album. The positives, I think we talked about in the last episode, the tracks were quite short. They kind of had a purpose. They were there just to rap and get a message across. It wasn't so much about sort of the music or the tunes to it. It's just about expressing Central Cee's feelings across. So it's hard to say about variation with it, because it was all pretty much the same. I just felt I missed out a lot of it just being old, and I hate to admit it, but I think that is the truth there. There wasn't sort of a lot of notes I could make on it as well. I tried to take a couple of lines where I thought, oh, I wonder what he's trying to mean with this, or I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Would I listen to it again? No. And I was also, I think, remember we were saying before there might be a lot more sort of references to London and stuff, which there was, but not loads of sort of specific. I think there's a couple of things I sort of picked up on, a couple of football things. So I said it's all really sort of relevant stuff. But I said it's not my sort of cup of tea, but I do appreciate what he's trying to do, and I think maybe I prefer this one slightly to his other one. Yeah,
I mean, I think it's fair to say I definitely prefer rap to you more than you do in general. So I quite enjoyed this to a certain extent. I think I don't remember exactly like the first album we listened to of his. It was a long time ago, but I do remember. Yeah, I was kind of talking about there was a lot we didn't understand. With this one, though, I felt I did understand it better. Even though actually with this one I didn't look at the lyrics. I remember with the last album we did Central Cee, I actually had the lyrics in front of me. This time I didn't. But no, I found it quite understandable. Of course, there's a lot of this roadman slang, which I'm not a fan of, but I'm relatively familiar with that type of language. So I kind of understood most of it, and I think I liked the fact, each song kind of had a message. I found it very easy to listen to. Like sometimes with rap, you can't really pick up on what they're rapping about, but I felt with this, I easily could, even without the lyrics in front of me. I could just kind of follow it quite well. There were some tracks that I actually thought were really good. And I guess you could say the beginning of each track had some kind of interesting introduction to it, that suddenly kind of went off usually and just went on to its normal kind of sounding stuff. So I was actually quite impressed by this. It's still not. Could I see myself listening to this? No, I still doesn't feel right listening to this sort of music. I don't know. It's like, rapping about drugs and just about all this like stuff with girls and stuff, and I don't know. It just doesn't doesn't sit too well with me. Like, I wouldn't want to really listen to it, but I didn't actually mind it, to be honest. I thought it was fairly good. So we'll go through each song. First one was Habib. So the way I've done this, I've kind of some kind of random lyrics that I've kind of picked out, and there's just comments as well. So Toyota Yaris, I heard. So I've just described this song as kind of like rapping with some continuous, same background music. Seems very speaky, this particular track. I didn't know how the rest of it would be. It just felt kind of like speaking rap kind of thing, rather than kind of singing rap. Interesting lyrics that he said he considered suicide. I mean, I'm guessing this is all quite personal stuff, so I'm guessing that it is true. And because it's speaky, it was easy to pick up on the lyrics. And then we heard a bit of Arabic at the end. Because, I mean, the name of the song, Habib, I think it's, like a Arabic name, Islamic name. So, that was interesting. I don't quite know what the relevance to that is. But, yeah, it was okay, that one.
Yeah, so I sort of put essential things. So I've put sort of a real sort of powerful opening to the album. So I thought that was going to really sort of be quite interesting. I put sort of here the sort of religious, sort of Arabic kind of feel to that as well. Felt proper London, and as you said, it was sort of like it wasn't rapping, it was like speaking rapping. And I know I've sometimes referred to rapping as almost like being like poetry, and that's kind of what let's say here. I think later on with the stuff he does talk about, it's hard to sort of put that in the same sort of bracket as expressional poetry for the sort of stuff he's going into. I should clarify when I said before. So yeah, this one was definitely more understandable in terms of things he was talking about, apart from obviously, as you said, that's sort of the slang bits as well. So I felt a lot of meaning and deep things that I've, again, picked up on the suicide thing as well. And I thought this album was going to be a bit different, and maybe that's why I ended up not enjoying it as much, in part because I thought actually there's going to be a lot more difference to it, but then it sort of didn't follow the same sort of suit with the deep sort of messages in those regards.
So the next one was Straight Back to It. I quite like this one. It has a sort of catchy chorus. I don't know if it was a chorus, but it was just kept sort of repeating that. Straight back to it, straight back to it. And I heard something about like possibly Virgil van Dijk, because there's something like Virgil offside. I kind of liked it. And one thing you might be able to help me with, you previously helped me with what was it? Something the greatest. What was it?
Goat, The
Goat. Yeah. So another one I've heard here, I think I heard it from here. This is what I picked up on, and generally like around on Twitter and other stuff, and just generally when I watch YouTube, is OG. This is quite common, but I don't know what it means. Any ideas?
Oh, that one I don't know, to be honest. Is it, oh God, I don't know. Yeah, no, not sure. The only way I think we all know generally is about scoring an own goal, really, but I don't think it's to do with that.
That's what I kind of heard. I think it said OG. I'm not sure, but I've definitely heard that around OG, but I don't know what it means. But okay, fine.
I haven't got a lot to say on this one. This, again, to me felt really modern, really up to date, really current, a bit more upbeat, kind of catchy in regards as well. And also made reference here, you could hear about Virgil van Dijk being offside. But again, just trying to understand what exactly was he trying to say or mean with that there. Catchier than the one before, but I felt the film was more powerful, upbeat, a bit more catchier, and see what's more to come.
Yeah, then we had Ungrateful. So I quite like the sound of this one as well. Decent rapping skills. So some of the vocabulary I picked up on, some of this roadman slang. Feds. I take it you know what that means?
Is it to do with the police?
Police, yeah. It's the police. So then he was talking about, which I kind of get as well, this kind of annoys me, like how people celebrate the new year like it's like the start of something new. But in reality, it's just the same old shit, isn't it? It's like nothing changes. Make New Year's resolutions. He was talking about like 31st of December, January the 1st, same shit, which is true, to be honest. Talks about GCSEs. And just, decent stuff. Quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, again, it's quite similar to the first one. It had a bit more sort of a powerful message to it. Not talking about. I put more sort of emphasis about. You feel like it seems like with a lot of these same artists have the same sort of story. Leave school, no GCSEs, teachers tell them they're never going to amount to anything, and they kind of do it in their own way as such. And again, if there was more emphasis on the lyrics, and this is where I realised I could make background music. I can't really say a lot about it because it's very minimal. There's nothing much to it, and it's all the focus on that one there. I think he talks, talking about sort of like Wi-Fi and 4G. So there's all these sort of relevant current stuff that's sort of in there as well. But then there was a few, I haven't really known slang that I didn't know, but there was sort of a lot of that as well.
Yeah, the next one was Bunda, which I didn't make many notes for. I think I had, was it Bayern Munich were mentioned maybe a few times?
Yeah.
It sounded like that. Another kind of sort of roadman slang type thing would be government name. That's quite easy. You know what that means?
No, I wouldn't know that one. Just
government name is your official name, like the name on your passport.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I hear that quite a lot, and he mentioned that in the song, government name. It was all right, not bad, this one.
Like you, actually didn't have a lot to say on this one. Again, not saying I didn't sort of really pick up on from there. The rap was pretty good. I was sort of appreciating on the rapping side of things, and it was the Bunda that kept sort of throwing me. And obviously, it does mention Bundesliga and Bayern Munich a few times. Yeah. So whether the Bunda was actually in reference to the Bundesliga or actually something different, it just so happens to have it in there. I was all really sort of put on that one there.
Then we had retail therapy. So the line I took from this was, "I've been with the gang all week. I need some female energy," and it was just good flowing rap. Quite liked it.
Yeah. So again, this is when we have the sort of stuff like the sort of intro where you sometimes have a female voice, and it's sometimes exactly the same on another previous song. So I hope maybe you might know more on that or what you thought on those side of things. What do I hear? This was one of the lyrics. So back in the day, it's from a different one. So I was thinking, the retail, so talking about his sort of past and actually working in a retail shop and his frustrations of doing that. But as for the song itself, it sort of went by really. Didn't think too much into it. It was more on the upbeat side of things rather than the slow, more powerful stuff. And we're starting to get a bit more sort of the slang and language that we don't generally enjoy listening to, which I know comes pack and parcel with rap music, but it's just less enjoyable for me for that type of music. Okay,
then we had Eurovision. So this is the big one on the album, maybe. I guess the longest track. There are a lot of artists involved in this as well, featuring them. So didn't like the beginning. It was like this shouty rap start from a different rapper. So I'm really not into that shouty rap stuff. And then we had some kind of Arab guy, I think. And then Central Cee came into it, and I was like, this is more like it. Central Cee just sounds the best so far, just out of all those rappers, I think. I heard a bit of Spanish, then a bit of French, and now I realise why it's called Eurovision, because it's obviously all these different languages, different people come together. So good from that point of view. But actually, as for the actual song itself, I didn't actually particularly like this one. I actually prefer Central Cee on his own. I prefer his style, his rap, rather than some of those other guys.
So for us, obviously, Eurovision sort of stuck out already from the album, and this song at the moment, compared to others, stood out more from the others as well. Purely, you did have the sort of different languages. I quite enjoyed sort of hearing, because we've obviously heard German rap, which we know is always quite harsh, but suddenly hearing rap in Italian, Spanish and French felt a little bit different, and unusual, but not unusual as well. And it's hard because obviously things came up in, for example, like in Italian here. But obviously tried to translate it, but because I think it's also in Italian rap slang, it doesn't quite come up as well. Because there's something talking about Neymar, and I want to know, I wonder what he's saying about, and then Costa. There was Costa, so I didn't know if that was Diego Costa, and then also Neymar. I was thinking, why would he be mentioning both of those? Because when I looked at the lyrics, the Costa was in a capital C. Is it a different kind of Costa? But the lyrics didn't come up because it didn't recognise it. It's something along the lines "in trouble" or "under trouble on the coast," something about Neymar. And then because then someone was then mentioned about VAR, the game, because it's in slang, it didn't quite pick it up there. So if anyone's watching this and they know Central Cee's songs here, they know a bit of Italian or know rap Italian slang, it'd be quite interesting to know what the Neymar bit reference was there because it threw me. And that's generally what I wrote about the song.
Okay. So then we had Cold Shoulder. I was just happy just to have Central Cee back on his own, to be honest. Heard some London references, Gypsy Hill, Bush, which is what they call Shepherd's Bush. And he was talking about from Bush to Beverly Hills. That was just quite a good song. Again, quite enjoyed it.
So this also, just over the music, I know it's not normally ever said about it. This was a lot slower. I actually quite like the tune on this one, even though it almost fades out and you can't hear it at all. It's just with the lyrics. And so we had a couple of London references, Gypsy Hill. I just really enjoyed the line, from Bush to Beverly Hills. I'm just trying to imagine, like, people, like, if he's in Beverly Hills and someone asks, like, where are you from? Like, say someone says to us, we're from Beverly Hills, we kind of make reference, we know exactly where. If it was the other way around, and then suddenly he went, like, I'm from the bush, or Shepherd's Bush. Just can't imagine they would have any idea. That's an American thing as well. It's everything if it's not London, then they don't know it at all.
Well, Shepherd's Bush is London.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But same way Beverly Hills, like LA, you just say specific area. But if they would say, they wouldn't. Yeah. So I just thought that was quite interesting. And I like the line about him, referring to being bipolar and not being like Jekyll and Hyde. And then, like, one of the lines here. So this is where I was talking about earlier about, like, are these compliments or negatives? Fun pages. Looking at my friends, my pups. Do you know what, like, refer to, like, if you're saying my pups, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
I don't know about that one.
Again, I was going to go to Urban Dictionary, try and look more into it, but I didn't have all day. But so like I said, there was lines like that, and I just didn't know. I wonder what he's trying to say.
Okay, so the next one then was Mrs. Nice sounding start. Quite enjoying the lyrics about his missus, actually. And it's very clear and easy to understand. So I didn't write anything else down about this one, but I just remember it was talking about, like, I can't remember exactly, but like about maybe him cheating or, I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but kind of like his wife or his missus getting pissed off about, not that he didn't answer back her text because he was busy doing something. And it was just easy to kind of follow and understand. Yeah,
definitely. I said you do sort of understand those meanings. And so he talks about the text, didn't reply to, and in the end, he wrote this song that we're now sort of reviewing. Talking about he likes I like when your face is beast. Now, would you know what that kind of means, or is that again a compliment, a negative?
Don't know. I can't help you with that one.
I think it's meant to be a compliment because then sort of the next line is, maybe a negative because then I think the next line, I like it when you have the makeup off. So I think when your face is beast, it's like it's been done up. But I say get the understanding the meaning of the song, but it's just the slang or the lines in between where. How much of it do you actually understand in terms of like it being a good way or a bad way and stuff? But otherwise, a nice sort of tune actually for this one.
Yeah. So next up we had Airbnb. Didn't have much to write for this. We just put the music has suddenly changed at the end. Right at the end, it just suddenly changed up. But other than that, it just kind of passed me by this one really.
Yeah, I think now we're starting to find where the songs are actually like. The songs have been short before, but I don't know, for this next few, they seemed really strong, really went by really, really quickly. So yeah, I couldn't remember too much on. I don't think the tune was too much difference there. I put one of the lines here. Some men get nicked and sing "You can read all about it," like Emily Sandé. And again, I just quite like the line because I recognise Emily Sandé as an artist, and I recognise one of her songs is "Read All About It." So playing words and putting that in there. So it made me realise, there's probably loads of these really good wordplay that just probably go past us. We don't even know or realise really. So it made me think back, there's probably have some good stuff there. Otherwise, yeah, just a short quick song that sort of went by really.
Okay. Then we had No Pain. This was very short. I just don't have much to say on it. I don't have anything to say about it really. I just kind of listened to it. Didn't make any notes. Again, another one that just kind of passed me by.
Yeah, the sort of stand-up thing for the start was, again, we had this sort of little intro of female talk, and this is now, she's been saying something for this one, she says, "I love Chris Rich," and didn't know who Chris Rich and what this one was about here, and just wrote one of his lines here. I'm surprised I don't have AIDS. I fuck them raw when I get laid.
I remember that, yeah.
Otherwise, again, a real quick song. It felt like it was like a minute long, this song. It was probably longer than that, but it just felt like a minute. It wasn't much to it.
So we had Terminal 5. I was quite looking forward to this one. This is about, presumably, Heathrow Terminal 5. Had a nice sort of jazzy start intro. But unfortunately, there wasn't really much about Terminal 5. It just kind of said, meet me at Terminal 5 or something like that. But that was about it, really. Like, pack your bags, meet me at Terminal 5. It was another short one. I was hoping for a little bit more, maybe something a little bit more Heathrow related, more Heathrow vocabulary.
Yeah, like the Heathrow Express from Paddington to
something like that. Yeah,
talk about his journey from there and stuff. The same as you. I was thought there might be a bit more, and even then, by the end of it, I was thinking, well, actually, even talking about Terminal 5, is he actually referring to the Heathrow? It could be actually Terminal 5 in America, because I think he was talking about his missus or his girlfriend. Or he was in America, and so he could have actually been referring to a Terminal 5 in America for all we know. Again, a line I wrote here. That's why, she came to the West, no Kanye. Rihanna ting when I told her to turn up the lights. So again, I didn't know if there was another song related to like lights with Rihanna there, and obviously that's what I said. Best go to America, Kanye. So again, another good little sort of playing words that sort of probably went past us by, and then said, I think this maybe might be Terminal 5 in America.
Okay, then we had Obsessed With You. So I like this kind of squeaky voiced intro, and I thought it was going to kind of disappear, but it didn't. It actually remained throughout the whole song, and I actually really like this. This is arguably the best song on the album. The kind of squeaky voice part just kind of added something to it, gave it a little bit more, and which is very, very good. I enjoyed the rapping part as well from Central Cee. So it just all sort of went together really nicely. Really good track, this one.
Yeah, agree. I've very here. This is sort of my favourite one so far. Really enjoyed the sort of high-pitched female voice singing in it, which it's weird because generally you think most other songs that might be quite annoying, but for this it kind of worked quite well, and even at times they were literally doing it at the same time. I think it gave that sort of tiny little bit of difference of what we've been hearing already, and felt quite enjoyable from there. Lines from this one? No, I haven't got any lines from that one. So I just said, this one's probably been the favourite so far.
So then we had 8 Ball. I was really enjoying the lyrics of this one as well. It was really clear to hear kind of about how he's changed from when he was younger. Really interesting line as well that I caught. Something like, more money, more problems. I wouldn't say I'm loving this life, which is interesting. And again, I just enjoyed this one. I just enjoyed listening to it, picking up the lyrics. Something about his mum said about how he's, I can't remember what it was now, something like how he's, grown up now or something, or he was talking about in the past how he would rob, be prepared to rob somebody, or I think he was talking about. So, enjoyed it.
Again, I felt this was like back to like the early tracks, where I felt there was a bit more meaning to these ones. You can see he was talking about not enjoying his past as much. And again, I think I quite like the tune on this one as well. And yeah, you mentioned they talked about I would rob a man. It says robbing a man for an 8 ball. And again, I didn't know what the reference.
Yeah, well, it's an 8 ball. Yeah.
Yeah, was an 8 ball in terms of that really. So again, if anyone knows that, it'd be interesting to know. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, I felt this was a bit, compared to some of the other ones, a bit more meaningful and quite nice to listen with the song before, and then as we come into the next one as well, I think they all sort of blend in quite nicely together.
Yeah, so next one is Lil Bro. I mean, I'd say this is also arguably my favourite. I mean, it's up there with Obsessed With You. I really like this one because it was a really interesting track. He was giving advice to his little bro. I think it's not actually his little bro, just kind of like, a friend kind of thing. And it was like having like a conversation, debate about it. Like, Central Cee's the rich and famous one who's experienced a lot, giving advice to a younger guy who hasn't experienced much, and they're kind of debating about how to go forward in life. The little guy doesn't want to get like a shitty job, a dead job.
Dead end job, yeah.
Dead. Yeah. He wants to basically, I think, go out into the streets, and I think Central Cee saying, no, I've done that, I've been there, doesn't work, don't do it. So I actually really enjoyed this. It was really interesting to listen to.
This was probably my favourite song. This is my favourite song on the track, on the album, sorry. Really liked it. It felt very, very real. I said I really liked it. It felt like a real actual conversation. Because there's another song that we both like from back our day, City High. You remember that one? About the guys telling about the girls, having to go out to prostitutes so you can do better than that. But I felt like a really fun sort of pop song. This felt like a real street conversation with that, and it was interesting because at the time I don't know if it's actually his younger brother or, as you said, like a younger friend. But probably to us, like Central Cee is already quite young already. It just felt so much older with that. But really good lyrics. I did write some down. I'm not going to go through them over here, but really, really interesting. And I said, just felt like a real like conversation, and hopefully this young one does take Central Cee's advice, really.
Yeah. So that brings us on to the last track then, which was End of the Beginning. Starts off with like a woman's voice saying patience is a virtue. Quite slow so far at the beginning. Wasn't actually very keen on this one. A bit disappointing after the last sort of 3 songs were pretty good. Talking about the trap, I think I heard that in another song as well. And I think in another album as well, maybe of his, this word trap, like, I think I might have even mentioned this in the previous review we did, where for us, the trap in college was the toilet. That's what we used to call it. But I don't know what the trap means in this sort of slang language for them. I think I saw something, maybe it's like your local neighbourhood, possibly, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, as I said, I wasn't particularly keen on this one, actually.
I thought this was going to be sort of quite good ending to the album. Again, this became a really sort of slow one. It felt a bit like with the first one, a meaningful rap, which was sort of spoken and not rapped, not sung rap, whatever the term we're going to go with that one there. I tried to pick up some of the lyrics here. It kind of, I think, after I really enjoyed the previous song, this just sort of felt a bit of sort of a letdown with he's talking about having beef with anyone. If he was going to have beef with anyone, it'd be the tax man, which again I've just found quite interesting. Obviously now, he's getting to a stage where he's obviously earning and doing well, and suddenly it's not having beef with friends or other people in the streets. All of a sudden now the tax man or accountants, and it just felt sort of quite funny how, these sort of street people suddenly live a different life if that makes sense, like the sort of the dealing with different kind of people in a different way, and it just but it was like to say you take the person out of. You take the person out of Shepherd's Bush, but you can't take the Shepherd's Bush out of there. It kind of felt like all of that sort of thing coming with this one here. It felt like it was going to be a good end to an album, but just sort of a bit let down from the song before. So yeah, that was that really.
Okay, so that concludes our album review. I think we'll just give a few comments on top of it, just to kind of sum up. So yeah, for me, I enjoyed it. As I said at the beginning, I thought it was just interesting to listen to. I was able to pick up on the lyrics. I mean, as Brett proved, I wasn't able to actually understand everything. Because when you were asking me questions, what does this or this mean? I don't know. So maybe I didn't understand quite as much as I thought I did. But there was some really good elements to it. And I was there, kind of bopping my head along, but saying that, as I said earlier, I still don't know. I just don't feel particularly comfortable listening to this sort of stuff. It's just a bit, don't know. Maybe I'm too old, or I don't know. I don't want to say I'm too old. It's just, don't know. Maybe feel a little bit uncomfortable listening to it, but still enjoyed it. What about you?
Like I said at the start, I said overall an album I didn't overly love or enjoy, so I wouldn't really listen to again. But that said, and I haven't said it for a while, there was one track, Little Bro track that I would take and put onto a potential playlist and quite enjoy listening to if it came on. And I know we feel being harsh, in terms of not understanding certain slangs, because there'd be loads of songs, even rock songs or pop songs, where you don't really understand the meaning or what some of the terms are. You still enjoy, but as we know, it's different because it is about knowing and understanding the lyrics to get the best out of it. But like I said, you can still enjoy it, still get enjoyment from it. So didn't over enjoy the album, but I did, like I said, enjoy one particular song, and would have that on my potential playlist.
Okay, well there we go then. So thank you, Kopf Los, for the request. And keep the requests coming, guys, because we don't get many for these album reviews. We've got loads and loads and loads for our reaction videos, but we need some more for album reviews as well. So keep them coming in, and thank you. We'll see you again for the next one. Goodbye.